Hi and welcome to this past life reflection pick a bundle. In a moment I'm going to show you these bundles and you can pick the one you feel most intuitively drawn to. This is about a past life you've led and why it is relevant to you today, specifically looking at themes of karmic reward and karmic debt. Why don't we look at these cards together and please pick the one you feel most intuitively drawn to. Okay, let's take a collective inhale and exhale together. So a deep breath, let's close our eyes and inhale. And when you open your eyes, have a look at the bundles in front of you and choose the pile you feel most intuitively drawn to. We've got a Garnielite palm stone, Amethyst chunk, and some Smokey quartz. Bundle number 1 with the Garnielite. So now that I've established what was a debt and what was a karmic reward, I will go deeper and find out what way that plays out in your current life. So in this lifetime, you were a laborer, okay? And this is coming through as a reward. So in that lifetime, you were rewarded with this job and it brought you a lot, 10 of Pentacles, of wealth, of sustainability, and you were able to provide anything you wanted for yourself. And it was a very solitude life. I see you living in this mountainous area at some point during this life. And that came through as a reward in of itself too with the King of Wands. So this solitary life that you led, you wanted this, and some part of your soul contract wished to use this reward, that you would have this life on your own, where you felt in complete power. You might have been a Leo, or the sign Leo is relevant to you today as you're listening to this reading. I have some indications for that sign. You were a powerful person in and of yourself. You didn't need anything else. In fact, the sort of civilization you appear to have come from was an alien civilization. So a soul can incarnate in many things. I've been reading about like souls travel through different types of matter and different densities. And I mean, your soul can inhabit a rock, a tree, a cat, and each time your soul will evolve. And there are possibilities that your soul has inhabited a civilization that we are not familiar with here on Earth. And you came from a perhaps extraterrestrial place. Or have you ever felt like you don't belong here, or that you're like an alien or something like that? And you may have come to this earthly 3D realm from another dimension. And your soul was here to learn something that we can only teach here on Earth. Gosh, what could that be? It came through as another reward, strength card. You were coming here to test your strength. You were coming here to test your power. You were coming here to get a feel for what the hell goes on here on Earth. So the theme that you were most privy to seeing in your lifetime was greed and generosity. You were a generous person. This is coming through again, even as a reward. The 6 of Pentacles, it's very much it fits really well with the theme of greed and generosity. So about that, what did you need to learn about the human experience in relation to greed and generosity? Well, it seems to me like you went to war. And what is one of the biggest, well, if you want to see what the humans are up to, go to war. That's going to give you a nice full description of what some of the most base and degenerate parts of humanity can actually be. Rape, pillaging, murder in cold blood, greed, right? A lot of wars are inspired by or pushed forward by people that are very powerful, that don't have the intentions of the collective or the civilizations where they are, waging war on at heart. This is often done via greed and driven through this. And your soul needed to see this. You needed to see how greedy and debased people can really be. And I think that's what brought you to war, down from your mountaintop. I can see you just like meditating here at complete peace, and your soul learned to provide for itself through hard work. I can see you basically carrying the stuff you needed up the mountain to set up your base there, to camp there, to just live your life there. You provided everything for yourself in this lifetime. and you were very empowered, and this whole time you, I think, really enjoyed what you created for yourself through your hard work, even through time spent alone and having to be in solitude. But hey, unfortunately that's not all your soul asked to do in this lifetime. They wanted to see how this theme can play out. So, I mean, maybe they had the generosity down. Maybe you were a person that was very aware of who needed what, and you were very willing to share and provide for. But your soul was like, well, where does the greed come in then? I can't be too greedy up here on my mountain. I have just enough, and I'm not looking for any luxury, clearly, and I'm not looking to like lavish myself in any fabulous surroundings. That's, your soul wasn't interested in that, but it needed to see how greedy we could all be. And this is when the debt comes through, the Four of Swords in reverse. So this was a karmic debt that was carried through to that lifetime, where you had to go to war to experience the full gravity of what greed can do and how that can corrupt civilization. Now that we have a feel for what was karmic reward and debt in a previous lifetime, why don't we look at these cards together and pull more and see how this relates to your current lifetime. So my bundle number 1, you began that lifetime as a laborer, or that was a big focus point of that lifetime for you. And through this, you were able to provide everything you needed for yourself, and in fact more. So that wasn't a reward for your soul. From, say, a lifetime even before that, you entered into this laborer lifetime with the reward of the 10 of Pentacles. Now, in this lifetime today, what does this 10 of Pentacles reward mean? How does that play out? And does it still remain for you as a reward that you are carrying? The 7 of Wands. Yes, I think financially you may still be quite a secure person. The King of Wands, or King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. It does seem that you were able to still maintain financial security. However, there may be more of a struggle than there was before just to stay on top of things. Meanwhile, you do seem to be a secure person financially. It doesn't have to look like loads of money in the bank. It could just look like a home that you don't have to worry about, meals you don't have to worry about how you provide for yourself. But yes, okay, maybe there's more of a struggle for you in this lifetime. Well, because perhaps you're not a solitary alien on the top of a mountain in this lifetime. Maybe you are. Maybe you still feel like that. Maybe this has carried over in not such a literal way, but you may say to yourself, I feel like when I'm at work, I'm the only person there that's like me. Sometimes I just would rather be on my own and just live on top of a mountain. This just really suggests to me that while you still are able to provide what you need, there is more of a struggle to do so in this lifetime. That's okay for me, because perhaps you are living a different sort of lifestyle altogether, where you're not just on your own providing for just yourself, and that you have to perhaps provide from others, and that there is more of a test or a struggle just to stay on top of financial matters. If this is work related, maybe you are still a laborer, because you look like you could still be putting in a lot of physical exertion in the work that you do, and you have to use your physical body a lot, and your strength, your vitality, your effort. Some of the work you do could be kind of physically taxing or physically draining even. And this is not necessarily a debt. It looks like it's still something that you're able to surmount. The 7 of Wands is always a challenge, but it's always one that we can actually overcome. So in this lifetime, maybe you don't have the same amount of finances that you did before, but you're able to manage and maintain. And this does not look like a further debt or reward necessarily. It's something that plays out in your life to less of a significant way, I would say. So let's see. You have to work a little harder for what you need in this lifetime, is what I'm thinking. So the alien situation and your strength card, you were coming in as like some really powerful agent in this lifetime. The strength card, a really strong man or woman. So the strength card, let's see how this plays out in your lifetime today in relation to these cards. The 8 of Cups. Maybe it has been very difficult for you to leave your alien civilization and come to the earthly 3D realm. You found it difficult to leave behind the people that you had there, or people, the entities that were there. Eight of Cups, you had to leave your soul tribe or your clan before to kind of come to a foreign place. Maybe this has come up for you in this lifetime. Have you ever had to leave your place of sort of security to venture into the unknown and to go to a sort of foreign land, foreign city, foreign town where things were going to be different for you, where you were leaving behind comforts that you knew, where you were leaving behind security, emotional fulfillment, and happiness to venture out somewhere else? I see the energy of having the strength to leave somewhere behind in order to fulfill your soul mission. So this might have come up for you again in this lifetime, where you needed to muster the strength to embark on a new soul journey. And that's what's coming through for me. Remembering that you have the reward in your soul's arsenal now of strength, inner strength. That doesn't go away. That's going to stay there for you and giving you more of the courage and to walk away from something that doesn't satisfy you anymore. At the bottom of the deck, the Page of Wands. Foreign travel, new cultural experiences, cross-cultural experiences indicated in this lifetime today from something from a past. This alien nature of you, being able to find yourself in foreign territory, unusual settings and places, around unusual people that you don't share the same background with. This can just be looking like going to a country that they speak a different language to you this time. This is all these sort of alien concepts, right? So that's stuck with you. You've been able to master this before, this going to a complete new territory from somewhere. And that might be replaying for you again in this lifetime. The strength that it takes to start again, to leave something that's very fulfilling. So the Mountain and the King of Wands, what's coming through here around this in relation to this current lifetime you're in? The Five of Swords. So things get tricky now as you learn to collaborate with others. In this lifetime, you have decided that you need to learn how to work well with other people and not just go to this perhaps like more karmic or let's say south node tendency to revert back to retreat into solitude and just say, goodbye world, I'm going to a mountain, I can't take this anymore. The Five of Swords tells me that there is a challenge for you in this lifetime when it comes to dealing with others. This could be a reflection of a past life where you were much more solitary and didn't have to spend most of your time with other people, working on teams, Three of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, working on collaborations and friendship groups with family. This is all something that your soul is trying to learn in this lifetime because it didn't fully get to experience that. Along the way, the Five of Swords comes up with some more unpleasant and unsavory characters that your soul has to learn to deal with. The Five of Swords talks about manipulative people, and this could be people that you're finding yourself around in this lifetime. Could be bosses, could be a figure of authority, or even a parental figure like a grandfather, uncle, father figure. Or somebody that just like a teacher, a boss, somebody super authoritative. And it's in times like this, I believe, where you're confronted with this authority or these difficult people, manipulators and liars and cheats, that you often say to yourself, I wish I could just, pack up all my stuff and go somewhere where I can be totally alone and not have to deal with any of these people. So here we talk about karmic debt. And this would be things like learning in this lifetime how to deal with others. If you went to war, for example, you could have been dealing with, of course, people here that were liars, that were violent, that misled you and tricked you and deceived you. You could have, I don't think you've experienced that as much in your mountain journey because you hadn't mixed with people until this point, I don't think. The laborer, you were doing this all to build yourself a home, basically. That could be still a huge focus for you in terms of finances today. Why you spend so much time working so hard and laboring away, and it's to Seven of Wands to overcome the challenges you see in front of you financially. But yeah, so I'm seeing karmic debt slip in insofar as like it will be important in this lifetime for you to learn how to work with others, not to be taken advantage of or deceived or tricked by people. So let's have a look at the greed and generosity card and the Six of Pentacles together. How does this play out in your current lifetime? I believe you were a very generous person, but didn't get to see the other side of that spectrum until you went to war and until you saw from your alien perspective, wow, look how greedy people can really be, and look what people will succumb to and really degenerate to in order to gain ahead of other people and take advantage of. The Two of Wands in reverse. So you had to make a choice in this lifetime that was centered around the themes of greed and generosity. And for some of you, there may have actually been the choice to go down the route of greed when this was presented to you. Imagine you were a soul that hadn't really been tainted by greed or generosity yet, because you didn't really get to experience it a full hand at this point. You were able to be generous with yourself, with your time, with your own resources towards yourself, but it didn't really seem that you had this a chance yet in this lifetime to show your generosity or your greed to others. And then when the choice came down to it, some of you faltered and went down the route of greed, and others through the route of generosity. And so this is all saying to me, like, you made a choice towards the later part of your life that brought you to this warring sort of phase, or warring sort of energy in your lifetime. And some of you did choose to go down the greedy route, okay? Two of Wands in reverse, and the bottom of the deck, the King of Swords. So potentially you could have been leveling up to somebody in the position of strategy in this war, general, sergeant, a strategizer, the decision maker, somebody calling very, very high stakes shots. Okay. So let's look at, towards the end of this reading, we find ourselves in a warring sort of energy here with the Four of Swords in reverse. This is where the lifetime ended with some debt carried over to this lifetime. What does that look like? The Four of Swords in reverse and the War card. It gave you a lot of stress towards the end of your life, worrying about making the right or wrong choices. And some of you started to regret the choice made of the Two of Wands. That might have even been to go to war. The Tower in reverse. It seemed like it was a catastrophic or more, let's say, a blow-up ending to your life. This could have been something that looked like an explosion. It could have been you witnessing the collapse of a building, witnessing the collapse of even a town, a society, a civilization. You saw this coming because you knew when you were at war that this was only going to end one way for you, the Tower reversed. You perhaps, Ace of Pentacles here, took this route and took this pathway towards war because maybe you were promised a lot of money, and maybe that's where the greed came into it. You probably realized when you were there, like, oh boy, this is only going to end one way for me, and it looks pretty explosive. So it looks not relaxing. It looks like the opposite of the Four of Swords upright, when we are like chill in our bed, pretty safe. This is the opposite, and it does seem like this triggered this debt that's carried. So what does this perhaps look like for you in this lifetime? A real aversion to conflict, staying away from trouble, staying away from dangerous places, staying away from volatile conversations and arguments with others, staying well away from engaging in any battles or wars of your own with anybody. So in this lifetime, there may be more of conflict avoidance here, brought around from some serious conflict and wounds from a past life, and what you saw really shook you to the core, the Tower. But at the same time, it was valuable because you kind of said to yourself, hey, I knew this would happen if I made this choice. And you made this choice to go to war. It could have been inspired by money, and that lies the theme of greed and generosity. And at what cost will we sacrifice our life, the lives of others, our soul for money? So it talks about the danger of selling soul for money here, especially since before you kind of had enough, right? It mightn't have been exceptionally glamorous, and it seemed like it was quite solitude, but that you were a hardworking person. You valued your own space, your own your own privacy. You didn't ask for much. And in this current lifetime, this is translated to being somebody that works very hard for their money, that still might have a physically taxing job. This could translate to somebody in this lifetime having the capabilities to leave a secure, their roots, and leave their roots behind. That could even just be a job that's very secure, a relationship that's very secure. Anytime we leave something that's secure and brought us fulfillment behind, we're exiting our comfort zone. And this could be someone you find yourself like in this lifetime. It's easy for you to walk away from situations, go to a new country, do something different. So the issue of you being on the mountain on your own was that, you could provide everything for yourself, and you only had to worry about yourself. The King of Wands can be slightly selfish, but it's an enlightened, spirit-led selfishness, knowing that, you're on your own soul mission here, and that you are basically the main character. But in this lifetime, you struggle with this, and you struggle perhaps with being taken advantage of by aggressors in this lifetime. Could have been the same aggressor that met you on your mountain and said, hey, I need you to come, here's all of this money, I need you to come on board and be a strategizer, be somebody really high up in this war operation. Maybe the offer was very tempting, and for some you succumbed, and brought yourself to this warring feature of your life. In this lifetime, you may find it difficult to say no to offers that seemingly sound so good that you can't resist. What is this saying? The devil makes an offer you can't resist. And there might be issues for you that come up in this lifetime, like where you take an offer and pick up on an offer that you maybe know in good conscience isn't ethical or morally to your standards that you've set yourself before. So you let yourself down a little bit by agreeing to do something that on some level doesn't sit right with your conscience. That could be something that plays out as more of a karmic debt in this lifetime. Okay, so you may be a person that does avoid conflict or finds yourself totally overwhelmed by conflict in life. Some of you are still perhaps in your warring vibe though, and seek out this conflict much to your own, mental anguish here. So there's some things to watch out for. So I'm going to close this reading with a message from an oracle. This is one I pre-selected for you. It's called Empress of the Pearl. And I'm just going to read you a little bit about this now, and take this as a message now. Bundle number 1, the Garnielite bundle. Take this as a message from today for your highest self to you. It says here, you have an inner gift of great value, born of struggle, adversary, and challenge. War. In wisdom, you know that suffering can lead to growth, provided we are willing to search for a way to heal through it. Seeing challenges as ways to expand your spiritual life empowers you to focus on the growing light rather than get caught up in suffering. Natural pearls are rare, lustrous, feminine gems created within a living organism, the pearl oyster. They have a unique creation process. Natural pearls are created when a foreign entity, such as a grain of sand or parasite, finds its way into the pearl oyster. The oyster reacts and creates layers of pearlescent substance, creating a warmly glowing treasure within. Wow. Okay, you were the parasite, I guess, that gained entry to this foreign place as the alien. And I don't want to call you a parasite in that way, but you were an agent of change, okay? So you were an agent of making something different, a unique creation. So this goes on to say that just like the beautiful and rare natural pearl, you have a unique spiritual beauty to offer the world. Your pearl is a precious gift, something unique, and that is being born through your experience and consciousness that cannot be created or copied by another, because it is your unique soul light. Any struggles you have experienced are a karmic gift to help you grow in this inner exquisite offer to support the spiritual evolution of humanity. Once you recognize this, you can dispense with your struggles more swiftly, using them to help you grow and not adding unnecessary energy or focus to the problem, which might make it grow instead. If you found yourself attracting negative energies from those around you, or perhaps feeling drained, or sometimes even possessed by negative thoughts or experiences, you don't have to feel afraid. You can heal within Kuan Yin now, allowing that which is stirred up within you to begin forming the beautiful gift that you have to share. Just as the pearl starts from irritation and reaction, so are the circumstances in your life which feel uncomfortable, serving you to help you grow your gift. It is time to realize that your soul is growing its luster and beauty to share with the world. Once you realize this, your struggles become less and your soul light even more luminous. Okay, Garnielite pile, that was your reading. I hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Bundle number 2 with this amethyst. So let's get into your past life reflection right now. So it seems like you worked in a field of health, and this was something that's coming through actually with the karmic debt, the Empress in reverse. So you worked in a field of health. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at what you were basically doing at this time, and then we'll look at, did this look like more of a karmic debt or reward? And then when we have established that, we'll look at the cards together, pull more and go deeper to see how that influences your life today and why this is relevant. So in this lifetime, you worked in the field of health. This doesn't only look to me to be physical health. There was mental health practices here too. This looks a little different to me than what we see as what we would think about as health nowadays. It doesn't really look like a clinical hospital setting necessarily. It might have been something more holistic, more focused on like mind, body, soul rejuvenation of spirit, as well as physical health. So you were kind of involved with all of these things here. However, the Empress in reverse tells me that this is actually coming through in this lifetime. In this lifetime, it was a debt that you had to settle, and you had to settle it through the means of working in health. I think midwifery is coming up really strongly here. The Empress is the archetype in tarot of the mother, but there was something that went wrong here. So you might have been giving bad health advice. You might have, been unsuccessful in some of your attempts to bring about health in others. So that's coming through as some sort of a debt that you had to work off. We'll see how that comes through in your current life. So the era and civilization you were part of was the Mesopotamian culture. This is coming through as a huge karmic reward, the World card, the card of Saturn, and in fact a lot of connotations to karma itself. But this is looking really positive to me. It's looking like some sort of a reward your soul was experiencing in this Mesopotamian culture. Now let me just tell you about Mesopotamia if you're not familiar. It's current modern day Iraq. And what I have down here in my notes, this is where the Sumerians would have hailed from, really highly cultivated people as well, like Sumerians, the Akkad, and then later this was known as Babylon basically. And so we have a lot of biblical legends emerging from Mesopotamian civilization, the flood, the biblical flood we hear about, and the legend of the Great Deluge. This is all based around ancient Mesopotamia, and the people here were very skilled astronomers. They could see they could really gauge the solar system, knowing that the sun was at the center of that, and they were extremely gifted astronomers. They worshipped gods and different kind of they would have worshipped gods like Mars and Jupiter, and they would have witnessed that crazy cosmic event where basically it was known as the war in the heavens. Mars and Jupiter apparently had a battle, and now what has been created from this is this belt called Tiamat, which was it's an asteroid belt that now currently lies between Mars and Jupiter. But when our ancient ancestors were looking up at the night sky, they would have seen this big war happening in the sky and been like, what the hell is going on? So there was a lot of worship of the skies, and this is why I think it's a reward to you. You were fully immersed into this society and civilization that was so attuned to the cosmos, and very, very spiritual people, very enlightened people. So this we're going to say is, we know this is like modern day Iraq, okay? And actually your place that you ended up was this riverine setting there, which is according to one legend, the black-haired Sumerians originally migrated from a drowned land in the first furthest east, and they established themselves in the fertile valley that is now at the bottom of the Persian Arab Gulf. So that's where that lays now. I believe that's where you were, on this valley, this beautiful place. But the work you were doing seems to have been something that was a debt that you had to settle, and it was difficult. It was like a karmic debt. So you may find yourself working in something that was always very testing for you. You were a part of this community, and you were free-spirited, Seven of Wands. You were a fighter here for this community too. You persevered and managed to stay on top. You were always able to find yourself at the moments of crisis, I believe. Like, you were always there at a moment of perhaps death, somebody losing a lot of blood, somebody maybe was about to lose a child. I see midwifery coming in here for some. So you always found yourself in the center of the chaos and like always there during the crisis. The theme of your life was growth. And I see that coming through with the Page of Coins. This is a karmic reward for me. This looks like the child that you had and the child that, you grew at one point. Whether you were a man or a woman, it was either, you as the woman carrying the child or you as the man whose woman was carrying the child. I personally, from this reading so far, sense that this was the lifetime of a woman. So you had a child. This offered some sense of a new beginning in your life where you could grow into a new version of yourself. However, I believe your lifetime was cut very short and in a very sudden manner. The Knight of Wands is what's coming through with the card of termination here, which was via disease. So you were struck down by some sort of a disease, and this happened very quickly, the Knight of Wands. This is coming through as some sort of a debt now for me too. The manner of your physical death carried with it some sort of a karmic debt, perhaps even to this lifetime, where it all happened far too quickly for you. Death can often feel like that, but the manner of it, this disease seemed to be very aggressive and just like it took its hold on you pretty quickly. And this is also tying me into the health. So you worked in a profession of health, yet you died with a disease. So it does tell me that there was something at this time that wasn't really good for you or beneficial, and you were working with this at the time too, and maybe you really believed in this, but as it turned out, it wasn't providing you any physical health or safety or guarantee. Okay, so I think we should look at these cards together. Now that we've sort of gotten a feel for that lifetime, why don't we pull more cards and see why this is relevant for you today? Let's keep going then for bundle number 2, and let's look at the Empress in reverse and this health card. So this was some sort of a debt that you had to settle in a past lifetime. Why is this relevant to you today? The High Priestess in reverse. Interesting. This is a lack of judgment. This is poor judgment, blocked intuition when reversed. That is the energy of the High Priestess. Not listening to your intuition, not listening to your gut. This could come up for you again in this lifetime in relation to the Empress in reverse and in relation to health. Not using your best judgment or your gut instinct when it comes to matters pertaining to health and well-being. Especially for those that are listening to advice based on their pregnancy, perhaps, the Empress in reverse, their physical body, their vitality. So perhaps in this lifetime you have found yourself furthering this karmic debt of not trusting in your best instincts when it comes to your physical health. This could be things like, poor diet, substances, smoking cigarettes, drinking too much alcohol, knowing that these things potentially are bad for you and still doing it. That could be just not listening to your gut. There are more serious ways we can ignore our gut instinct around health decisions too, and just be aware that if this is something that potentially played out for you already in a lifetime, that if that debt was not settled, and maybe it wasn't due to the nature of disease happening so quickly towards the end of this lifetime, that you potentially haven't fully settled that karmic debt, and in this lifetime again you are being asked, with the Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck, not a nice character here, people that trick you. Maybe you're just being asked to take more ownership of your health decisions and listen to your gut instinct better. use better judgment and use better discernment when it comes to making bigger decisions about your health and well-being, especially for those with child or that are making decisions based around their children. Okay, very interesting. Mesopotamian culture, civilization. I would have loved to have been around then. The world card. Hey, maybe I was. Who knows? The world card and Mesopotamia. What does the tarot want to clear up for us in that regard? So this was a reward for your soul to be in this enriched cultural experience, to be successful even in this cultural experience. The world card. This is the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so there were opportunity and options for you here within this dynamic. Now, you didn't always make the right choices, but there was like plenty of options here for you to be successful, the World card. This tells me that in this lifetime, with this Ace of Pentacles, it happens to be reversed here, upright and reverse. That there have been opportunities created for you in the civilization that you are a part of, really big accolades for success and accomplishment, but you've rushed past some of them, the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So you didn't take every opportunity that's come up for you so far in the civilization you find yourself in today. Even though that there's been tons of them, a lot of them have happened too quickly, I believe, or involved a move that would have been too stressful, too unsettling, and probably would have caused you a lot of anxiety. So look out for opportunities that trigger in you this feeling of, I can't do that because it's too risky, it's too quick, it's too unsettling, it's too far from my comfort zone. Or some of you are taking on this idea that, you know what, I don't want to take this option because it will come at the suffering of another. And I'm really you might be conscious on a soul level of like the karma that will bring you. So for some of you, you have been very discerning about the options and pathways you've taken in this lifetime, probably because of some sort of a lingering memory from you, some far distant memory that you took options in the past that really unsettled you. Okay, so let's have a look at the setting you found yourself in, the riverine setting, where you were an integral part of everything that went on there. That was a very dynamic setting for you, probably helpful in the community. Maybe you were even like a spokesperson for people in that community. Let's have a look at the Seven of Wands and this riverine card from your past life. The Ten of Cups, I should say, in reverse. Okay, so in this lifetime, you may not fully be satisfied with the setting you find yourself in. Maybe it doesn't look as beautiful as this riverine naturalistic setting here. You find yourself dissatisfied with the setting you find yourself in today, I believe. It doesn't look as beautiful. It doesn't feel like you have as big of a role to play. You may believe that where you find yourself today just doesn't bring you the same satisfaction as where you may have found yourself before in another lifetime. Okay. The Page of Coins. When you had the child, I believe, is when all of this soul growth really got underway for you. A new beginning was apparent in your life. It was starting to unfold. And this was via the birth of a child or even an idea. But there was a lot of growth initiated by this time in your life. And it's when things really began to change. The Five of Wands. It was a struggle, and in this lifetime, I feel like you may find struggles around starting something new. You might struggle to start a course. The Page of Coins is all about like new beginnings in terms of education, courses, college courses, study, just even like, what I'm trying to think of, like any sort of a training module that would further you. You have a kind of inner conflict around doing that. Maybe that has brought up conflict in today's lifetime for you. Taking a chance on a new beginning in your life might be something that brings up conflict internally for you, or you're met with external conflict, people telling you that you can't do that. So you may even in this lifetime have struggles around education, around students perhaps. Perhaps you even have struggles around your kids at the moment and even their education and things like that. You're finding kind of harder to deal in this lifetime with kids for whatever reason. So you grew in that lifetime so much through having a child, and it was a karmic reward for you to grow like that via the Page of Coins, new beginning in your life. And for some, it was a baby. So the Five of Wands now in this lifetime is saying, like, don't let anything challenge your growth. You're still here to grow. You're still here to start fresh, and you can always start fresh no matter what phase of the lifetime you're in. You've done it before where you've started fresh, and that made you grow so much. So if there are challenges against your growth, Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck, abundance and growth with this card, meet the challenges head on, because after all, guys, we're here to grow. So the card for disease and the Knight of Wands, what does this talk to me about? So you took bad advice here in relation to your health, because you ended up getting something pretty difficult to deal with, and your body actually couldn't fight this off. The Knight of Wands telling me it happened all very suddenly. So let's have a look at the Knight of Wands and the disease card. Why is this why is this relevant to you today? The Tower, the suddenness of this. The suddenness of what you can see happening to people's health affects you very much today still. Again, our Five of Swords back at the bottom of the deck, this time reversed. Even worse, even more bad advice, even more bad people, evil when the Five of Swords reverses at times. With the Tower, very difficult energy. So you're still aware of the corruption, perhaps even around the health system, you may be thinking. And in this lifetime, you are aware of how suddenly things can change around people's health, and you've probably been confronted with that issue again. Not necessarily for yourself. Maybe that doesn't mean you have had a disease and that you've seen the rapidness of how things can deteriorate and change. You might have just noticed that around you on a collective level now in this lifetime, how suddenly everything can fall apart when one's physical health is not guaranteed. The famous saying, your health is your wealth. It could be very much part of your soul growth in this lifetime, just like it was in another, to realize the importance of health, well-being, body, mind, soul, and how before this failed you and it failed your health. The Empress in reverse, it took away your vitality and abundance. And in this lifetime, you still have some sort of a lack of intuition coming through around physical and mental health matters, perhaps a block in your intuition. And that's encouraging you to break free from that, I guess, if it is a repeated cycle from lifetimes. The opportunities that you found yourself enjoying in this Mesopotamia, a civilization, were so rewarding. You were in, like, it seems like the cradle of enlightenment at this time. Everybody around you, it was a great era of understanding, enlightenment, and spiritual development. However, in the civilization you find yourself in today, these options are not as accessible for you. Even if you would really like them, you find it harder to get onto that path, right? The Ace of Coins just represents the potential for a pathway, but when it reverses, it seems that it's difficult for you in this lifetime to get back onto that role or into that sort of way of being in the world that existed in another lifetime. The same options and opportunities just aren't there for that. Maybe we don't value the same things that they valued in this civilization. The setting that you found yourself in was integral to your, I suppose, sense of purpose. And again, the setting you may find yourself in today, it just doesn't do it. It doesn't curl your lashes the same way as you found yourself when you were, let's say, on this kind of Persian Gulf in modern day Iraq, in this riverine setting. The same setting, it just doesn't set your soul alive at the same time. So you had all this opportunity for growth in this lifetime, and that you did. It especially came through a new beginning, especially I'm thinking a child. And in this lifetime, you have challenges around these new beginnings, and you have opposition and people saying maybe no, people fighting with you on this, people fighting against you, working across purposes around your growth. So keep your eye on that. Anybody who seems to pose a challenge to your growth, get one of these wands and bash them right out of the way, bundle number 2. So the suddenness of this disease that struck you, Knight of Wands and the Tower, catastrophe, all out of the blue, knocking you all the way down, and down you fell, and this happened so rapidly, and you may be acutely aware of the rapid deterioration of health even in this lifetime, how quickly that can happen to people or even yourself. So let's close this reading with a card from an oracle now, Turquoise Lotus Mother, number 42. And this is a message for you today. This is a message from your highest self for you right now. And I'm going to read you this from an oracle. So the Turquoise Lotus Mother brings precious healing to you now. Allow yourself to be lifted out of your struggle. An old pattern is finally in its death throes, something that weighed heavily on you from your past. Well, what about that? This can be one of the most testing times to allow something to go, just when it seems to be so demanding of your time, focus, and attention. Yet do not doubt that you've actually learned the lessons it required of you, and now you are being blessed with an opportunity to receive karmic healing. There are some lessons in our process of spiritual growth that can cut right to the core of our being, that challenge us so deeply that even as we learn the lessons and participate the wisdom, we can still struggle to outgrow the grip of that pattern. No matter how hard we try, we may not feel that we are ever going to be able to completely release the challenge. And no matter how much we grow, there is still a thread of the past that hangs on. We need a spiritual rescue remedy if we were ever be able to free ourselves of the clutches of this persistent pain. The compassion and spirituality powerful nature of Ma Kuan Yin as the Turquoise Lotus Mother seeks to bless you with karmic healing so that you may be lifted for your struggles and can simply leave them behind you now. Get those wands and bash them down, okay? And leave them behind. Your soul has learned what it is needed from the situation, and it has asked for divine help and a divine hand up so that it might continue on its divine path of growth without unnecessary karmic weight pulling it down. Listen to your guidance now. If you feel inspired to visit a healer, listen repeatedly to particular healing music, go to a class or meditate at home at a particular time or just more often, this is a great idea. These are also attempts by the Divine Mother to reach you through those available channels you set up for yourself. Divine blessings of karmic healing can flow from the spiritual world directly to your soul, but oftentimes they are more affected when coming through a human channel of higher vibrational level directly to your energy field on the physical plane, such as working with a healer in the physical plane. Be open as you can be to guidance, to allow the divine karmic healing of Turquoise Lotus Mother to reach you. Her turquoise nature cleanses and protects your energy field. This is kind of a turquoisey vibe, right? Or am I stretching at that? I might be stretching. This oracle also indicates that if you have been working with crystals, turquoise in particular, to continue to do so. It is empowering for you and it is helping you heal, whether you're completely conscious of that yet or not. That's beautiful. Turquoise Lotus Mother being your oracle, bundle number 2, the Amethyst. Thank you for watching this reading and I will see you soon. Bundle number 3, the Smokey Citrine from Brazil. Okay, so let's get into your reading. So what I'll do first is establish the lifetime that you lived before and what those themes were. And then we'll establish whether that played out as something karmic in the sense of a reward or debt. And then we will pull more cards to clarify and they will show why this is relevant to your current lifetime. So in this former lifetime, you were a trader, a very respected, renowned job, one of the oldest that we are aware of. I sense this was on ships, so water might be a big theme in your life, or boats or ships. And I believe that through this experience as a trader, you led a very exciting, life full of adventure. And this is like, as one of the oldest trades in the world, literally a trader bringing goods across the world, bringing goods and services to other parts of the world. I see that this was a huge reward for your soul. The World card cleared that up for me. So the World card is the culmination of a cycle. It's Saturnian influenced, and Saturn is a big denoter of karma in astrology. So for me, this was a karmic reward for your soul, that you found yourself being in this position as a trader, being in this part of the world that you found yourself in, full of adventure and excitement, really respectable, and you loved what you did. And it was fundamental for the evolution of basically all of the civilizations that we are aware of now, bringing things to other parts of the world, cross-cultural experiences. This was a huge reward for you, and something that you had really thrived in this role. You were alive during a period that was known as the Dark Ages. Now, we have several Dark Ages throughout the history of civilization, followed usually by a period of enlightenment. After the dark comes the light. It could be argued that we're in some sort of a dark ages right now, today. That's up to you to decide, based on your opinion. The darkness would be a lack of transparency and a lack of truth. Without much truth or transparency, not a lot of light can get in. So we might find that, this rings true a little bit. Are we in a collective period of darkness right now? Only eventually to reach a period of enlightenment, of course. But the Dark Ages, there was no, things were gloomy then. There was no information being shared. There was no help. There was no help from there was no help from bodies or government aids, and it was all very suppressed and repressed during the Dark Ages. But this, again, was some sort of a reward for your soul, the Daughter of Wands. I believe that this encouraged you to just leave your hometown, step out of your front door and see the world. The Daughter of Wands is our card for traveling and cultural differences, sharing cultural ideas, traveling and excitement. So I do believe that even though you were born into an era of the Dark Ages, your soul had the reward of traveling and getting out of this place that you found yourself in, through the means of your career as a trader, through that reward in of itself. You lived in a seashore environment. So this does ring true for me with being like on boats a lot, at ports a lot. You might have some sort of a distant memory of that, or some sort of a resonance there. Again, looked like a karmic reward, the Justice card. You were put here at the right time, right place, for the right reasons, to play out a role here that has a karmic note to it too. The Justice card is a really big karmic card in the deck. So that's coming through, telling me, I see this as a reward, however, that you were given this opportunity to be here in this place to establish a life for yourself. The theme that played out the most in this lifetime for you was that of stability and versus instability. Again, the Star card telling me that this actually was some sort of a reward for your soul, that during that lifetime you reaped the rewards of being very stable in one sentiment and then being completely unstable. Now that doesn't really sound that nice all the time. This actually looks like the Tower card in some decks, when something being blown apart here. Yeah, I guess that you healed through these ups and downs in your life. The Star card is a real sense of optimism and healing. So I'm trying to figure out how that could be so optimistic for you. Maybe what came crashing down for you was never really meant for you. And through that experience, you had everything you built up derailed for you at one point during your life. Lost all of your sense of stability and security, but through that your soul was able to heal and even gain more optimism about the world around you. Then this lifetime was terminated by an attack, murder, perhaps someone you knew. The Moon card. This is the debt that is created from this. This was the only card that so far we're seeing like a kind of karmic debt initiated by this. Well, fair enough. I mean, it's hard not to enter into a new lifetime if you've been murdered like this or attacked in a previous lifetime without carrying any of the karmic debt that came with that. The horror, the shock. the pain. So the moon card is telling me that that was some sort of a debt that in that lifetime your soul needed to settle. And perhaps because the moon card is all about secrets and the unknown and fear, perhaps you had been fearful of the person in your life, and perhaps that, you know, you on a sort of subconscious element, which is very much the moon card, knew that this person was going to get you or hurt you or harm you. And that was something that your soul needed to see and perhaps witness that, whoa, I should not have trusted this person. They lied to me this whole time, and they were, you know, they were not who they said that they were. Let's look at these cards together, pull more to clarify, and see why these messages are relevant to your life today. Bundle number 3, let's start clearing this up. So this was a great success you had as a trader. Maybe in this lifetime you're very successful with your merchandise or selling your product, or even traveling has come up a lot for you and a lot of cross-cultural experiences in this lifetime. It was a huge reward for you to live this life like that. So the World card and the Trader card, why is this relevant to bundle number 3 today? The Ace of Wands. Yes, this might be something that you still feel very inspired to do in your lifetime. Travel the world, sell your product, be the product, you know, you being the product. Like, look at this Ace of Wands, the essence of vitality, creation, inspiration, action, will, desire to do, to create. You may still have really strong urges to see the world like this, to put your mark on the world, to sell yourself, and you might even be the commodity. Your gifts might be what the world needs, and you're in another position now to sell something, sell yourself, sell your product, whatever that might be, to see the world as coming through for you still as a huge source of inspiration and divine creativity. I think that you perhaps might even be a creator in this lifetime. So the Daughter of Wands. So that's it coming through with this card around the Dark Ages, which was the civilization you found yourself in. Well, this looks to me like this sort of tone of enlightenment. Maybe you're here today in this incarnation to be here to witness the enlightenment that's about to follow the Dark Ages. And if we do believe that we're in a period of Dark Ages, like look at our cards here from a past life. So far, they're all dark, black and white with some pops of color. Now we have a full-blown energized splash of color into the reading. So in this lifetime, you might be a beacon of light. You may resonate with the words light worker, helping the light get into the dark to penetrate it. The Daughter of Wands and the Dark Ages. What's coming through? Why is this relevant for you? I believe in this lifetime you were able to travel very easily, and so if you didn't like where you were or what you were receiving in some sort of an environment, you were able to get away from that. Hence being, I see this more as a reward for your soul. So let's have a look at the Daughter of Wands and the Dark Ages. Another ace, the Ace of Pentacles, with a beautiful colorful card at the bottom of the deck, the Lovers. So there were options for you in the past, and there are more options for you, even more today. So the Ace of Pentacles is the creation of a possibility for you to take a new path, new journey, or new life direction. This is appearing for you in today's reading, and it looks like it's a pathway that is more free and more full of liberation. The Lovers card, flying. You had to get on your boat before to get around. Now it doesn't even seem like, you know, you can still get on a plane nowadays and fly through the air, free yourself from where you find yourself in. It does seem to me that in this lifetime you have many options that are presenting themselves to you to leave a situation that is not serving you and somewhere that is full of darkness. And darkness being no transparency, no light getting in. We often think of light being truth and love, right? But you have a lot of options in this lifetime. So you still have your soul is still carrying that karmic reward, I believe, of having these options to go away. The Seashore and the Justice card, you were so delighted to find yourself here. I guess it really facilitated your career, and then perhaps it even facilitated what your soul truly wanted, which was to explore, adventure, discover. The Justice card, the Seashore. Let's see what's coming through for that. Why is this in relation to you today? The Son of Cups. Did you meet somebody significant around the beach, the seashore, water, boats? ports? Have you met somebody through your work as somebody who works in sales or commerce, or somebody who sells a product? Did you meet the person that you are romantically involved with perhaps through this in this lifetime? Or perhaps there was a significant ending of a relationship for some reason around one of those themes I just mentioned. Other than that, this is still coming through as a reward in this lifetime, especially if you find yourself living near the sea in this lifetime. It's like it's something that your soul craves and desires. The Son of Cups. There is a mediation here for you in this lifetime to mediate what's fair around this situation. Maybe you find yourself doing something that, you know, another way that could be invited into gaining more sort of like reward for your soul, essentially. It's like something that would be enriching and rewarding for your soul. Could be like something like picking up rubbish from the beach, or keeping the waters clean around you, or like spending one morning a week when you're walking your dog on the beach or something, and you bring a garbage bag with you and just tidy it up and clean things up and try and keep the water clear. That might be something else that's coming through for you in this lifetime. So you were rocked with massive instability in this lifetime, but through it offered a massive kind of healing source, the Star card, and it actually gave you so much optimism in some way, and it was some sort of a reward for your soul, even though that does not necessarily seem like it. If you were rocked by instability, it seemed like it was very enriching and rewarding all the same. Why is this relevant today? The Mother of Wands. It's wow, and the Empress at the bottom of the deck. If I'm speaking to any parents out there, how has this influenced your life today? If you're a parent, mother or father, doesn't matter really. This is somebody who's guarding their young here, and the Empress is the archetypal mother. But this is telling me that perhaps in this lifetime, pregnancy, unexpected, has rocked your stability, or perhaps like parenthood in general has changed the stability in your life. Maybe for some, it's in fact made it more stable rather than less. That's very much possible. But yeah, other than that, the healing that your soul has been given through this period in another lifetime of stability and instability was that you are like been launched into a sort of entrepreneurial role in this lifetime. Maybe some of you do find yourself being the leader, the boss, the owner, the CEO, the manager, somebody who is an inspiring leader, a warm-hearted leader, and a very empowered person. So I think that through bouts of stability or instability in your lifetime today, you may still find yourself coming out on top time and time again. The Moon card and attack. So this is where we see a karmic debt from a past life that probably came through into a current lifetime you're finding yourself in. Do any of you feel this fear of attack that you can't put quite your finger on where this could be coming from? You maybe have never been attacked or victim to any violence perpetrated against you in this lifetime, but there may still be a hangover of watching your back or being fearful, especially, you know, I don't like the dark, you may say. I certainly don't like being in anywhere like in an unknown area in the darkness of night, which is very common for human beings. But this might come up out even stronger for you now, and it's the lingering debt of what happened for you in a past lifetime. So let's see, what do you need to know about this? The Mother of Cups. There is a very strong maternal, or at least nurturing energy, Temperance, at the bottom of the deck. It's funny that the card Temperance is showing to me now. I had the sign Sagittarius in my mind when I was doing this reading for some reason. I guess I was thinking of the Voyager in that archetype of Sagittarius. However, the Mother of Cups. So this attack came to you by somebody that you thought had your best interests at heart. You might have even been victim to this attack by a family member, or somebody like a partner, a husband, a wife, somebody that you thought had your best interests at heart that were never really showing you their full colors. The Mother of Cups, as beautiful as this energy is, can be extremely discreet and often manipulative and even deceptive. So together with these cards, I'm sensing that you were probably the victim of somebody that was very close to you, somebody that in fact you thought even loved you. And that's the debt. You may find yourself today around people that you believe have your best interests at heart, but if your back was turned, I'm not saying they're going to drive a fucking mallet into your heart or anything like that, but the energy of they would attack you or work at cross purposes to you may come up, especially if it's somebody that you thought really cared for you. You may want to be wary of certain water signs in your lifetime at this time for the people that chose this bundle. Let's move on and close this out with a reading, an oracle card. We have this card, Daughter of the Phoenix, number 6. Let's see what's coming through with this card today. And let's take this for bundle number 3. Let's take this as a message for from your highest self to you today about the journey you're on in this lifetime. When the soul is ready to spread its wings, it goes through a deep cleansing, purification, and preparation for new spiritual wisdom, power, and light. Just like the phoenix that is baptized through celestial fire and born in you, you are going through such a phase of heavenly purification, preparation, and initiation. This is an advanced phase of soul growth, and soon after you will enjoy greater spiritual peace, divine power, and advancement on your divine life path. Kuan Yin, Daughter of the Phoenix, has been through both physical and heavenly, and has ascended into a position of great spiritual peace, power, and authority. She guides you now to claim your rebirth and ascend. Oh yeah, this lifetime is a rebirth, baby. A rebirth into your power. In the same way that if we were moving house, we would need to sort through our possessions, and sometimes it's an opportunity to let go of that which we do not wish to take with us into our new life as we prepare to move to higher levels of consciousness. There are old habits, stuck emotions, and stagnant energy that do not belong in our new life cycle. The path of purification and initiation by celestial fire is preparation for spiritual enlightenment, greater happiness, well-being, prosperity, success, spiritual responsibility, and leadership. I see you as a leader in this lifetime. It can be a challenging time. That which would stand in the way of new spiritual potency must be eliminated, and often these things are deep fears, doubts, or questions about your own worth and ability. It can feel confronting to meet these parts of ourselves consciously. Yet we cannot let go if we don't even realize that we're still holding on to this within us. This initiation will help you release any old baggage or pain that does not resonate with the higher levels of light that you are preparing to live in. It can feel challenging at times, but know that there's nothing wrong. There's actually something very right behind these experiences. Do not fear the challenges. You would not be taking these spiritual exams if you weren't ready to live at a higher spiral of consciousness. Have some faith in your own progress, and remember not to get attached of what is leaving your consciousness as you're preparing to ascend. And this bottom of the deck, Temperance, totally a card of ascension. And we're now in Sagittarius season, and this is the season of ascending towards the light. After we've gone through Scorpio season just past, the season of the Phoenix. This card, Daughter of the Phoenix, it's when we go when we plunge to the darkest depths to rise more triumphantly than ever before. To pass this initiation and benefit from it, we must be prepared to surrender which needs to be burned away. Kuan Yin, Daughter of the Phoenix, guides you to have faith and fearless trust that it is safe to let heavenly fire have its way so that you may rise up anew to your spiritual destiny. This initiation is in its final phases. When you are able to put your new beliefs and talents to the test, living based on your spiritual principles of trust, faith, and love. No matter what is presented now, it is an opportunity for you to apply your spiritual values and live your life accordingly. Then the celestial fire will have soon done its work, and you will arise like the glorious phoenix, ready for a new life. Thank you for watching my bundle number 3, Smokey Citrine. So nice. I've never really seen citrine that you can pretty much see through. It's gorgeous.